He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. All the good names are taken podcast. And today we're back talking more Scream news. Today, the topic everybody's loving to argue about, Blake. Stu Macher, will he be back in Scream 6? Do you want him back? Before we get started with this, like, subscribe if you like what you hear. Okay, Blake.
Stupid to bring him back. And I don't get the love for Stu. In the middle of one of the most intense scenes, he said, "My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. He's a great character. Bring him back." No, he died. It's over. Bring Randy back, too.
They did in part 3.
Let's bring Stu and Randy back.
Randy wasn't really killed.
Let's bring them all back. All of them that died, let's bring them back. It's possible.
Well, I mean, it's a horror movie, so anything is possible. They can write anything in. What I want us to discuss is it worth it? Because Scream is one of those franchises that has actual credibility to it. Nothing super ridiculous has happened in this franchise. It's been based, for the most part, in reality. I know people are going to say, well, what about Randy getting a tape for the guys in part 3? I mean, it seems like something that character would have done. If I'm going to get killed, hey, if you guys are still alive, use these tips for part 3.
You said it best a few weeks ago. The only way to bring that character back and for it to make sense is to go the Wes Craven New Nightmare method. And guess what? 2026 is the 30-year anniversary.
They would have to break into a new timeline.
And that's perfectly fine. It can work. Halloween 2018 proved you can make that work. Now, they didn't capitalize with the 2 sequels, but still, you can make a new timeline and make it work. And guess what? In this new timeline, and if you go the new Nightmare route, you can bring them all back.
Yeah,
Billy, Drew Barrymore, you can bring them all back.
You can bring back people from part 2.
Exactly. Derek, I mean, all of them. Mickey. The roommate, Haley, you could bring them all back, and it would, you could do whatever from there on out, and I would think Sydney would be up for something like that, or I say Sydney, Nev Campbell would be up for something like that.
Something different. Look, I agree with you 100%. The only logical way that you can bring Stu Macher back to the Scream franchise and it not ruin the franchise's credibility or send it down the road of just any other horror franchise is to go the new Nightmare route. And it could be one hell of a movie. There's no rule saying that you can't break into another timeline while a current timeline is going on. You got to figure they're going to spit out another Scream by 2024, right? They're going to do these once a year till they get to part 7, and that's over with. Why couldn't you immediately start working on the Scream version of New Nightmare where you have some sick, twisted person or persons, most likely, that is hunting down everybody, every major star from the Scream franchise? And you just said it best. You could put not only the people from the first one, you could have the people from the second one. You could have the guys from the third one. It would be an epic movie, and you would finally get to see all these characters, or the actors playing the characters, on the screen together. I mean, some of them are going to look rough, but I mean, it's been 30 years. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a money-making idea. Getting all the little connecting all the dots to make it happen, that would be one thing. I think that would be a well-received movie, Blake, and everybody gets what they want. They get Billy back, they get Stu back, they get Randy back. I think that's a money idea. I really do.
And it's also how you can bring Stu and Randy back as the killers. I mean, Randy's doing a podcast now. I can believe he's a killer.
He's a YouTuber, so I can believe he's a killer. So I like the way this video went better than what I originally intended, Blake. I wanted you to tell me why it was a bad idea, why it was a good idea. But
because he died. Okay, so let me just throw this out there right now. Why is it a bad idea? Because he died. And it would ruin Scream 2, 3, 4, and 5. It would ruin it because it wouldn't make any sense. There's no way to explain it. There's no logical way that people wrote books about what happened in Woodsboro. People are making movies about what happened. And you're going to tell me Stu snuck by and somehow survived and stayed hidden all these years? No, stupid. It wouldn't make sense. That's why you don't bring him back.
Yeah,
I don't care what color his dot is in that little poster they come out. He's dead.
no. One thing people like to say is, "Oh, you know that in the Scream 3 originally he was supposed to have a cult."
He was?
Yeah, you know what? One of the first drafts of Halloween 4 had Michael Myers growing to about 100 feet tall in front of the town of Haddonfield. Just because it was on a script at one point doesn't mean it had to happen.
Why'd that one get thrown away?
Terrible idea. And plus, 4 years after the original, you can justify the whole Stu thing. 26 years, 27 years after the original, you can't justify it. Why hasn't he done anything between then and now? Makes zero sense. I understand that lots of people love Matthew Lillard, but I think Randy hit it best in Scream 2. Wet rag. I mean, he was in love with Billy, and that's the reason he helped him kill everybody. He could have killed Gail, but he didn't check to see if she was dead, and he's the reason that they wasn't able to fulfill that plan. And a chick beat him up and dropped a TV on his head. I love the people on Twitter and then Nick Push's comments that said, if a TV fell on your head, you could live.
Let me drop one on your head.
Take 100 pounds, go to the gym, take 100-pound dumbbell, have somebody drop it on your damn head, and then tell me how Stu felt afterwards.
Yeah, and not to mention, this is after you've been stabbed 5 or 6 times. So let's say the TV didn't kill him, it just knocked him out. He bled out on the living room floor. Idiot.
Hit us in the comments. What do you think about our Scream New Nightmare idea? What do you think about Blake's Stu hate? Look, I'm backing up Blake 100%.
Listen, guys, if you disagree with us, send $1 to our Venmo.
The only reason to bring Stu Macher back is for us to see Matthew Lillard in a Scream movie again. But you have to remember, he was an idiotic, immature character. If you bring him back hardened like Heath Ledger's Joker, it's going to make zero sense. It's not the same character you're bringing back. Why would you want to see that? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. People that want to see Stu back, they're in love with Stu. Men and women. If you want to see him back, you're in love with him. Same way with Kirby. If you want to see her back, you're in love with her. I mean, that's the rules. That's the horror movie YouTube rules. I mean, I didn't make the rules. I just have to tell you what the rules are. Hit us in the comments.
What do you don't know the rules?
What do you think? I'll be right back. What do you think about our New Nightmare Scream idea? Tell us in the comments. What do you think about our thoughts on Stu coming back? Hit us in the comments. Like, subscribe, Venmo, share, all that good stuff. And make sure you check our channel this Thursday. What is it, Blake? What are we doing live this Thursday?
The two Corys.
License to Drive. 2 guys that need to be brought back to the Scream franchise. Because if they could bring Corey Haim back to the Scream franchise, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's bring Corey Haim back, guys. Let's get that going. Let's give her a cruise.
See you next time.
So long, everybody.